Once again, this is the morning rush and we apologize for the delay that we have speak earlier regarding the congestion and construction during the onset of the rainy season. Whereas the several construction activities has been occurring in Bacoor City and even in Imus City, including the Molino Overpass and even parts of Salawag-Padiparan border of the Bacoor Dasmariñas National Road or Highway rather, and we're not seeing some sort of congestion here in Padapada and Langkaan, and also we have detected a bumper-to-bumper congestion on the southbound Governor Luis Ferrer Drive, General Trias City, with less than the 6 kilometers an hour average speed. We advise everyone to please utilize the bypasses in order to ease the impact on the Mangdahan congestion. Back in Dasmariñas City, we have unfinished construction for the Embarcadero Bridge and portions of Lugan Road that needs to be rehabilitated as well. And such closures would mean we advise everyone against passing through such close to roadways in order to avoid interfering with the construction operations. Even though it's possible, then we are against passing through such construction sites that are still unsafe and unsound for motorists, as the spillover of the nails would cause a tire failure, in which it would mean a flat tire incident. And likewise, what we have spoken earlier is that there is unusual congestion all over the E2 system, wherein oh my goodness, we have a source already wherein parts of E2 got flooded, and that's the reason of the unusual congestion. And now we are issuing a major standstill warning already for the entire E2 network. Once again, we have a major standstill warning for E2, the entire E2 network on the southern portion of E2 portion, and also on the southern portion of the Highway 11 C5 due to unusual flooding that we have to report this to you. C5 Kaingin is now flooded 1 hour 6 minutes ago due to unusual heavy rainfall, and also we have an ongoing construction or rehabilitation of the highway approach to I'm sorry, overpass on the approach to Highway 120 from Highway 161, and likewise several construction activities have been occurring in a bid to rehabilitate all of the major roadways that are needed to rectify all of the structural issues that were identified. And likewise, Highway 171 got congested also due to the ongoing construction for the on-ramp to E6 as well. And as such, we would like to warn everyone against going beyond the Paranaque Integrated Terminal Exchange for all buses and or going through unsanctioned bus terminals along the Highway 1 AH26 EDSA. And also, it is the best to use the tap and pay cards where it is available. And for some reason, the beep card system, which is operated by AF Payments, have several issues on certain bus operators, while it is still working for the IM or Imus Makati P2P bus, and even on the MRT LRT trains. And some bus operators are honoring either beep rides or trip co. In some cases wherein there is a tap and pay card, you have to obtain these cards right at the terminals that were designated for such. For TripCo card, you could find it almost in Paranaque ITX or One Ayala or the DLTB company in Pasay City. And for beep rides, you could obtain only at Don Aldrin in Pasay, which is the opposite of the northbound bus train interchange station of the EDSA Taft interchange. And let's say, due to perennial flooding incidents plus the unusual accidents that got generated on the course of the onset of rainy season, we are now advising against the on-site working condition where it is still unsafe, and instead switch into work from home if applicable. And likewise, there is a congestion already for General Trias and Tansa. Likewise, the northern portions of General Trias and even on Tansa might as well as the entire Noveleta, Kawit, Cavite City, and Bacoor City, and northern portions of Imo City are still into the flood-prone areas. And likewise, we have an unfinished construction for Embarcadero Bridge, and even the closure due to rehabilitation in Newton Road. Alternate routing has been set up in order to manage the flow, while the Cavite Laguna Expressway from Silang East to Silang Interchange are still into the finishing works, while the Highway 410 is still under rehabilitation. So expect all sorts of moderate to heavy congestion as well due to the reduced lane count. And we are yet so sure that if this concrete pouring will be covered as well, as some of these opinions were saying that there is a possibility of defects once it got exposed to a rainfall, particularly if the concrete is still fresh. Cavite Laguna Expressway would not let this happen, ever since that they are strictly observing the quality controls and quality assurance procedures are meant for a high quality expressway systems that were needed, especially if in the near future truckers will go for the expressway instead of the highway. And likewise, we have an ongoing construction on the westbound in between the New Valley and the expressway main line for the supposed overpass construction as well. So please be careful if you're going through these construction sites. And if it is deemed a road closure, do not proceed right away, since it would pose a danger to our fellow workers who are still managing such construction practices. And if in case of a rainpour, we would advise against going into construction on inclement weather conditions, as this would cause more defects, unless the only purpose is to test out the roofing system against such defects. And if it's deemed a defective one, then an immediate fix will be commenced before the turnover. And likewise, there are some reports of the signal light issues and even flooding. But we are investigating for the false positive report of the signal light issue for the E2 elevated, where in fact It is meant to be for the at-grade Highway 145 that is intended for the report. And DP24 Media is now investigating such false positive, wherein the cause of the false positive is the absence of the beacons that were intended for the at-grade motorists navigating through the highway below the elevated expressway. And as such, sooner or later we will be going to discuss this on our DP in Focus live session regarding these beacons that were needed to use for the navigation purposes. And also, Lagos Nilad still undergoing rehabilitation works, and as a result, closures have been occurred, resulting into such infrastructure-related issues that were identified, including those of the drainage system that needs updating as time passes by. Drainage systems are needing much more of an update. And this would take a year or two to take for the rehabilitation, unless there is a permanent solution to this congestion. Say for example, MRT2 is in need for the extension towards the Pier 4 of the Manila Port or Manila Pier systems. And likewise, several closures have been reported for the Antipolo Street within Manila City due to ongoing Metro Skyway construction that are yet to be cleared. And likewise, the decommissioning project will continue for the NGCP to relocate all of the poles that are still obstructing the Highway 180. And likewise, the at-grade railway might either be utilized for the cargo only or in addition to the elevated railway, once the at-grade railway operations by PNR got into closure sadly. So heads up to all commuters who are still using the PNR. You might experience some sort of disruption due to the flood-related incidents. And we have an extra information. The flooding that got occurred on the at-grade of E2 has been identified. The northbound of the at-grade E2 is susceptible to flooding, and we would like to warn everyone to use the elevated expressway unless you're about to take Alabang, Sukat, Pikutan, or C5 interchanges. Or better yet, use the E3, then take E6 if you're coming from Cavite. Then drop down to at-grade if you're going to BGC or Makati. But however, there is something wrong for the Lawton Avenue. There is a congestion on the westbound, and likewise a major standstill warning is still issued for the entire southern portions of E2 network and the southern portions of the Highway 11 C5 network due to flooding that got occurred as a result of the overnight rainfall in the metro. And likewise, we are yet to be sure on when these flood warnings would be lifted. So we will go to the weather center right after this break. So please stay with us. Okay, we are back here and we have a warning already for the entire Cavite due to the low pressure area that all water courses in some areas of Calabarzon and even in Central Luzon as well, or the portions of Southern Luzon, would be compromised by some sort of a flooding. And we're going to zoom this into the entire map of the entire Metro Manila. And while we're waiting for some sort of extra information due to flooding that got occurred without any warning, a major flood warning has been, or major standstill warning and a flood warning has been issued for the southern portions of E2 and Highway 11 network. And that includes the southern portions of C5. And we will go further deep down into the flood levels that we were expecting. As the water level rises, so will the risk of a flooding. And right here, as we are observing, there's still a rainfall. And we have a warning post already for the Napindan Waterway number 2. Where the warning status has been raised due to the possibility of a flooding. Several regions have reported warning status. So if you're heading towards your workplace while in the middle of the onset of rainy season, we would like to warn against some sort of flooding that is going on that leads to being stuck into some sort of flooding that may render your motor vehicle impassable. And right here, as you can see on the detailed mapping, Napindan 1 got into a warning status, so with the number 2, wherein the elevation level may rise unexpectedly. And likewise, we have already identified severe rainfall and likewise Fort Santiago is now at the warning status already. There is a possibility of a flooding in Manila City. So everyone residing at the low-lying areas must evacuate to a higher level as soon as possible or go to the highest floor level of any buildings as much as possible. And likewise, it is stated in the weather forecasting system wherein cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms may occur on the Metro Manila and the rest of the zone as well, and even the entire Visayas and some regions of Mindanao including Zamboanga Peninsula, Northern Mindanao, Caraga, and Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. Due to the ongoing southwest monsoon and even the low pressure area got detected as well. And right as you can see all over this satellite imagery, this cloud covers would indicate the centering of the low pressure area that would be at risk for commuting as well. And we might have to preempt some sort of live session here, since it is themed overtime for us, especially we have an upcoming talks about the perennial flooding in the expressways and highways all over DP in Focus live session, which is a special edition. This Friday will be on tape recorded due to ongoing pre-boards in progress. And hopefully we could connect it throughout the Zoom for some time in another location. So we would have another episode of the perennial flooding for some time. And we have an ongoing flood warnings that were raised against our region and even in NCR as well. So please make sure that if you're going to go to your workplace, while in the middle of the rainy season, you have to wear your boots in addition of the shoe for additional protection. And that concludes this morning rush, this rainy season. Be safe, be well, stay sane and dry, and you are loved. This has been your Turbo. Have a blessed rainy morning to all.